What's going on, gamers? Got him again here, and today we are going to be talking about a topic that is as old as time, and that is, of course, going to be mods. So, what are mods? Basically, just every character in this game has a specific function that they perform, and mods basically just allow that character to better perform that function. Cool? Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. So, for a quick example here, that was not really jumping straight into it. This is a side note, but we're just going to give you a quick example. My Kylo Ren Unmasked is Relic 7. He has 116,000 health. 58,000 of that health comes from mods. That's a shit ton of health. Don't neglect mods. They are so important. Let's go ahead and just talk about that real quick. Let's talk about that. Alright, so basically these are the mod shapes, right? There's 6 mods that you can equip on any character, right? And only 6 mods. Cool? Alright, next section. Mod set. These are the classes that your character can, the stat that your character basically wants to utilize the most of. Like I said, my Kylo Ren wants a shit ton of health because he heals for 8% of his health whenever he takes damage. I want him to have a lot of health mods, right? Cool. Defense, you don't want your tank to take damage. Defense, cool. Crit damage, you want your character to hit like a truck. Cool. Crit chance, you want your character to crit. For example, Mandalorian, he gives his team turn meter whenever he crits. Crit chance. Capiche? Capiche. Tenacity. You don't want your character to get debuffed, right? Chewbacca. B2. Stuff like that. Offense. You want your character to hit like a truck, but they utilize special damage, not just physical damage. Offense. Potency. You want your character to land debuffs. Mara Jade. Stuff like that. Potency. Speed. You want your character to be fast as F. Boy. Speed. Moff Gideon. Piet. Also Mara Jade. Stuff like that. So, primary stats. Now, this is where things get trickier. Secondary stats is where things get trickier. They're actually kind of both the same amount of tricky. Actually, primary stats might be more a bit tricky. But anyways, let's just go ahead and talk about primary stats real quick. Primary stats are this old white number right here, right? Primary. It's the big number, right? You can't miss it. So, the nice thing about this is that squares and diamonds are guaranteed to have offense as the primary stat and defense. Squares have offense, diamonds have defense. That never changes, okay? So you can have tenacity, mods, square, offense. You can have potency, mod, square, offense. It never changes, cool? Just like war. Diamonds, defense, every time. Never changes. Health, defense. Potency, it's going to be defense, right? Never changes. Circles, you have one of 2 options. You can either do health or protection. Generally speaking, you want your tanks to have more health because they're going to have bigger health pools. And your squishies, you're going to want to utilize protection because they're going to have more, it's like equaler amounts and you get more percentage base from protection than you do health. Protection, generally speaking. A great tool you can use to cheat, Swigo.gg. Obviously, any modding tutorial is going to talk about this. It's an amazing resource for any new player. If you don't know what the freak you're doing, just look at this. It's going to tell you how to mod your character. End of discussion. There you go. Cool. Great tool. I just realized I didn't talk about the rest of these. So the primary for your cross is going to get a little trickier. For example, as we can see, circle, you have 2 options. It doesn't even list squares and diamonds because you only have one option, but these are where the trickier ones come from. Crosses or triangles. I know my shapes. I promise. You have one of these 6 options for crosses. You have one of these 6 options as well, and for arrows, you have also one of these. Can you guess it? 7 options. I almost said 6, and I would have looked like an idiot. So that's pretty much the gist. Cool. Yeah. Cool. And now we're going to make things easier for you for the secondary stats. The most important thing is speed, right? I'm going to just tell you right now, if your mod does not have speed, frickin' sell it. Just don't settle for less. You are shooting yourself in the foot if you don't have fast characters because it is a turn meter based game, right? If your character doesn't take any turns, you're screwed, right? So I'm going to show you a quick picture, which is of my account. No. I do want to save that. These are the mods for my account. I have 1.6 million GP. I have 110 plus speed. What this means, by the way, for real quick, if you don't understand, is basically meaning my mod has over 10 speed and secondary stats. Let me show you what that looks like real quick. This mod has over 10 speed, right? So this counts as a 10 plus speed mod, meaning I have over 100 of these mods. Cool, cool. 15, I have 35 of these 15 plus speed mods. For example, this one would qualify because it has 15 speed in the secondary. This would also qualify as a 15 speed plus because it's between 15 and 20. I have 5 20 plus speed mods and 25, and one 25 plus speed mod. So that's a ton of speed that you're getting from these secondary counts. To put it into perspective, or secondary stats, to put it into perspective, the speed increase from gear tier 12 to gear tier 13 is 20. I'm getting 17 from one mod. That's kind of nuts. That's a lot of speed, man. That's not to be underestimated. And this isn't even a speed mod. It's giving this much speed even though I have a health mod. So the most important secondary stat I would look for is speed. I wouldn't really worry about much of this other stuff. If you have it, it's nice to have, but the most important thing is speed. For example, if I have Savage, I'm like, oh, I want my Savage to have a lot of health, and I want him to hit hard, and I also want him to be fast, and I also want him to not take much damage. Finding all 4 secondaries on a mod that also provides the right primary you want is virtually impossible, right? It is completely RNG based, the way you farm mods. Like anytime you farm a character, when you look at farming guides, they can hold your hand and tell you like word for word, character for character, what to farm, and generally the amount of time it's going to take for you to farm it. That's not how it works when it comes to mods. Mods, it's just like farm that mod set and pray you get what you want. You don't know. It's kind of like Red Star system in MSF. You just have to hope for the best. You hope you get the character you want, and that's all there is to it. You just pray you get lucky. So that's why I just say generally just pay attention to speed. It saves so much time. If you're looking for that specific mod, it's not going to come. I'm sorry. That's also what my girlfriend told me. Anyways, we're just not going to look past this. We're just going to move on. So basically, yeah, just focus on speed. It'll save you so much time. Take a lot of turns, win the game. And that's the most important thing because that's what separates the bad players from the good players. Your mods, your speeds. How fast are you so that way you take turns first and that way you kill your opponent first. This is my opponent. I obviously can't clear ships because ships is cringe. This is my opponent's roster. I had no business full clearing him on the ground battles. He had 5.4 million GP. I had 1.6. There's no world in which I should be able to clear. But his speeds suck, right? They're just trash. Also, we didn't put his array on defense. But if you look at his speed on Jedi Knight Revan, you always want Jedi Knight Revan to be really fast. It's 235. He's only getting 67 speed from Jedi Knight Revan. That's horrible. It's awful. It's really bad. Also, we went crit chance. You do you, man. So that's why I was able to beat my opponent on the land battles. Obviously, it's not over yet. If he decides to win, he could probably just poop on my face and he'll win because he is 4 million GP higher than me. So this is what happens every time you play JC. It never changes. The most fair matchmaking I had was my very first round of GAC, where all my opponents were within 100,000 GP of me. The minimum punch up I've had to do is 1 million. I have not had a single opponent within like 100,000 GP of me since my very first round of GP. It has never happened. I've had to punch up every Grand Arena, every single one. It never fails. I swear on my dog. I'm serious, okay? Also, don't take me up on that. I value my dog's life, and there's a chance I may or not have just gotten her killed. We're just going to overlook that. But GAC match... Sorry, folks. My apologies. GAC matchmaking is rigged. All right, we can talk about that. That's a whole other video. It is cringe AF, bro. But the only way you're going to beat your opponent is if you go faster. Mods. That's pretty much the gist. Actually, I lied. We're going to talk about one more thing, and that's going to be the color of your mod. And, oh, what am I doing? Mods. The color of your mods. Filter. There we go. So we are going to have gray, green, blue, purple, orange. Basically, this means that if you have a gray mod, all your secondary stats are going to be hidden. You have to upgrade it to level 12 to reveal all those secondary stats. At green, you're going to have 1 secondary stat revealed. At blue, you're going to have 2 secondary stats revealed. Purple, 3. Orange, all 4. So basically all this means is just that it'll save you gold. If you have an orange mod where you can just sell it if there's no speed right off the rip, then if you had a gray mod, you have to upgrade it to level 12, then sell it because you have no speed on it. It just saves you time. These are nice to have. But yeah, it costs quite a bit of money to upgrade gray mods, which at the early game, I recommend for new players upgrading your gray mods to level 9, just because it's a lot of credits to invest to get it to level 12. So I recommend just not bothering and just go to 9, and then if no speed, sell it. And anything above, just, reveal all secondary stats and then do it from there. The rarity. This is very, very, very important. If you have a Mark 1 through Mark 4 mod, you cannot 6-dot it. What the fuck is 6-dotting? It's basically this little border right here. This border is very important. Without this border, this gives 16% health, right? If it didn't have that gold border, it would only give... How much health does a regular health mod give? Like 5 or something like that? Yeah, 5.88%. That's a big difference between 5.88 and 16% health. That's a huge difference. So 6-dotting mod is really, really, really important. So if you can't 6-dot your mod, they're not worth having, okay? Mark 1 through 4 mods, sell them. They're not worth your time. Cool. Mark 5 mods, you can actually 6-dot. Keep those. You're cooking. As long as they have speed. And that should pretty much do it. That's just like a very bare minimum introduction to mods. Obviously, we could talk so much more about how to mod specific characters, what secondary stats to be on the lookout for in addition to certain sets. Like, for example, if you have a potency set, you want to also have high potency on the secondary stats as well. But at the early game, that's a lot to keep track of. Certain stats have more value than others. Crit avoidance, you can sell if you want to. Defense, you don't need a ton of. Stuff like that. It's very nitpicky things that we could talk about a lot more. But that's basically just a very, very, very dumbed down version and probably overly long discussion about it. But that's pretty much the gist. If I think of anything else, ask me questions in my Discord server, something like that. But that's going to be it for me, y'all. So thanks for listening. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.